prepared.
Is this a sad thing for the pod?
No, I mean, kind of. Do you want me to start with it? This is sad news. And actually, I hate saying that because with what's going on in the world, this is not sad news, but I am doing Sober March. And I
No.
I generally do this because, like, it's so busy, and I always just, like, feel like it's a good, like, reset to the off season of, like, being really focused. So, sadly, I will not be partaking in adult beverages for at least until the Final Four. So, lucky for me, I get to New Orleans on the 31st and at 9 p.m., so it doesn't matter. So, April 1st, we're starting fresh in New Orleans.
All right. Well, on that note, you're sober, and I'm going to... I like that the first response that you give me, Paige, about you having Sober March is, oh, no. That's my response to you trying to help yourself and better yourself. So, God bless you for it. Well, yes, get healthy. I'm not healthy after Vegas, but welcome into No Puns Allowed, where I am still hurting. I am still a little tired. And college football things are happening. Spring is happening. But yeah, Paige, I'm still a bit in recovery mode. A lot of work, mostly work recovery, but some not work recovery.
What was your highlight?
Okay. Well, the first night went way too hard. That's Vegas. That's a Vegas no-no. I was at Resorts World, which is really nice. You should, next time you're there, if you haven't been, till about
I'm going in July.
Yeah, I was there till about 5:30 in the morning at Resorts World. So that was a mistake. But so I was there for the Golden Tee World Championship. So I did a lot of commentary. My voice is actually in pretty good shape. I was worried that my voice would be in shambles. But so a lot of commentary, which was fun. Sunday night, we crown a champion. Okay? We go to the bar at the Westgate. We're sitting at the bar. Somebody comes up to me and goes, hey, look behind you. Is that Cuba Gooding Jr.? Behind me? It is. Cuba Gooding Jr. is sitting at the Westgate bar on a Sunday night by his lonesome playing some video poker. So people go up, take some pictures. Very nice, accommodating. I go to the guy who won the world championship. I'm like, hey, I'll go get you your big check. And why don't you go up to him and say, can you say, show me the money with your big Golden Tee World Championship check? So we orchestrate it. He's very shy. We're planning it out, okay? He's taking pictures. Seems very friendly. Great. He walks over with the big check with someone there to kind of do it for him, like as a handler. And immediately I'm watching from a distance and like, Cuba Gooding Jr. did not look very happy about this at all.
Oh,
and very instantly declined and shortly thereafter walked away. So, Cuba Gooding Jr., if you're listening to this, which you most certainly are, I apologize for stampeding the night. Yeah, and that's a first for me. But, you know, when you're there and you're celebrating the Golden Tee World Championship, you got to step out a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been excellent content for you guys, so I understand the want, and I appreciate the effort. Also great movie. But yeah, that's tough. I can't think of like any. I don't think I've ever gone up to a celebrity.
It's not my style either, by the way. I did not do it.
No, I know you well enough to know that is not you at all.
Well, but for content, I was willing to instigate other people trying to facilitate this.
Yeah.
But that's like a big celebrity, or like he hasn't really been in much. But just to see,
he's like very well known. Oh
yeah, and just to turn over on Sunday and he's like 15 feet away was not what I was expecting.
Actually, I thought it was Vegas, but it was New Orleans. Actually, do you remember when we were in I forget which casino we were in, but
probably that Harrah's.
Yes, that Harrah's. And Jay Cutler was there. Not to say that he's like the same thing as Cuba Gooding Jr. at all, but
Jay Cutler.
But I just remember being like, that's a celebrity I might say hi to, but probably not, because knowing Jay Cutler, he'd be like, get the fuck away from me. So
yeah, it probably wouldn't go well either. And it is not definitely my style. But man, getting that show me the money with the check, That would have been great content. So, but Vegas was good.
Okay.
It was very busy.
Survived.
It was very back. Poor decisions, poor gambling, by the way. Holy shit. This was not a good Vegas trip in terms of luck and just bad. Bad gambling all around. Now I go back in 2 weeks, by the way. So
you do. Okay, so you have time. I don't know. I think the odds will get worse, but you can put money on Arizona to win the national championship at plus 800 right now. Just
so this is where I start to get my basketball on. Is that a bet I need to be? Well,
I mean, I'm super biased, but they're the number 2 team in the country, and plus 800, like that's wild.
How are you going to cover?
I would put money on Arizona and Duke to win the national championship in terms of like odds. Obviously, Gonzaga's the favorite, but like those are 2 teams that are like really good and have had interesting losses and I mean, I don't know, like those are teams that I would be comfortable picking.
Of course you would. Have you already placed money on Arizona?
Oh yeah, I did a long time ago.
I was gonna ask, what odds did you get? Because I know.
No, I got this plus 800, but that was okay. So I may have 2 separate futures.
Well, that's good. That's the way to do it with the future betting. Way to go.
Yes. So, but the Arizona odds that I have are plus 800.
I like it
for national championship.
Well, I like it when we bet the same because like we have good gambling synergy. Like when we have the same bets rolling. When we bet the same,
you're right.
When we have like
plus when we bet together, it's good.
Your March Madness joy, like that'll be a wave to ride. I would imagine the tweets are going to be flying when this happens. So I need a rooting interest on this.
I can't explain to you how, like, I'm even, like, getting sort of, like, teared up thinking about it. Like, I would be so unwell if Arizona makes it to the Final Four and I am in attendance. Like, they're because I am going, so I will be in New Orleans for the Final Four.
But you are covering this.
Yes, I'm working. I'm working. But it's also, like, like, I get to enjoy the game. I mean, I wouldn't enjoy it. I'd be in physical pain. I would not be able to sit, I don't think.
Are you credentialed for this?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so fucked. I saw you watching an Alabama Georgia game. In Alabama, there's Arizona. I'm speaking for you, but there's Arizona, and then there's like, and then you keep going,
else.
And then it's Alabama. I would
sit on my hands. I legitimately, I don't know. Like, what's so funny is one of my good friends who works for Bleacher Report. Her name is Caroline. She works for House of Highlights. I feel like you could get really good fan content sitting next to me watching an Arizona game, like working for House Highlights. Like they should just record me having a panic attack the whole time. Because honestly, I wouldn't be able to cheer. And so like my emotion would just be like, oh my God. Like,
if Arizona is in this, you have to seriously consider probably not. I don't like, you may not be as bad as those Georgia homers we sat next to. My God.
Oh my, that was horrible. In the press box, let's tell that story because I don't know that we got into it, but like when we were, because it's far enough away now that like people aren't listening to this and going to hear it. But no, I mean, I don't, maybe they will.
Who cares?
Maybe there's local Georgia people listening, but we were sitting next to a group of local reporters and the commentary on the national championship was so annoying. It was like, it was just very like, and if you're credentialed at an event, you have to stay unbiased. Like you sit and you don't cheer, you don't clap. There's something that happens. Yes. There's reaction, obviously, to like big plays where everyone's like, "Oh, holy shit!" But this was literally them like going back and forth and like pretending to whisper, and like they weren't whispering.
Yes, there was no whispering. Like, oh, you got to hit so and so up the seam here, Kirby. Like, he's wide open.
That actually would be my problem because I would call them by their first names. But that and also now that we've both had our bout with COVID, there was a guy sitting next to us. I was coughing the whole game. And Kramer, I've never seen him so uncomfortable. He's like, "This is it. We made it through this whole thing, and this is it." He's like, "This is it, Paige."
It wasn't even caught. He had some sort of. It was like it was breathing. It was like a sound. It was a deeply unwell sound. It was a deeply unwell like barn animal sound. That I thought I didn't know where it was coming from. I had
barn animal song.
I just by the third quarter between Homerville and Snortsville, I was ready to lose my mind.
All right.
And I'm sorry. We sound like we're assholes about this. We kind of are.
No, but it was not. But like I know that like if you're at a game, you can't act that way. So like I will have to. I mean, I don't know. Like I mean, there might need to be like a tranquilizer next to me that like someone can like hit me and be like, ow. I need a pullback guy. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I literally am gonna need a pullback person that's like chill.
Your Brent Venables on. Like
no, I'm gonna be like squeezing. Like my fists are gonna be like my knuckles will be white from like clenching and just being like so scared. You know what? We're getting ahead of ourselves. We still have a whole tournament, which I'm very excited for.
I am
and
too.
If they don't make it, I'm going to be completely heartbroken. But it is what it is. There are lots of good teams. I'm excited to go to my first Final Four. Actually, I've never covered the Final Four in person before.
That will be a fun event.
I know. I'm very excited, especially because that was like the first thing that I really got to cover was college basketball. But anywho, college football.
Broken.
It's apparently the worst of the worst to attend. But it had the lowest in like 50 years in terms of attendance. Since 1981, they averaged the lowest attendance. So one of our listeners reached out and said, tell us how to fix college football. Like, these are the numbers. What would you do to fix college football attendance? And I thought that was a very great question. So, Kramer, do you have any tips and tricks for getting people to attend college football games?
So, let me start by saying the at-home experience is so good. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say this, Paige, and I'll speak for you, but I'll speak for myself specifically. I love going to college football games. If I'm doing a story, we go to the national championship. I don't really miss traveling to football games during the year. And I cover it, so I'm maybe specific. If you like a team, if you're an Alabama fan, maybe you're like, I want to go to Alabama. But I like being at home because I love seeing what's going on. I think the sport is getting a little less geographical, and people want to see what's going on. TVs are amazing. These 8K coverages are amazing. Beer is a lot cheaper. Parking sucks. It's a lot. Now, again, I wonder how much COVID has impacted this. And I'm walking through the entire logistical issues of this versus the issue itself. There is clearly a problem. Part of this, though, Paige, I think is unavoidable in terms of like the at-home experience is comfy and wonderful. But this to me boils down to two simple things. Improve Wi-Fi and connectivity for fans. You go into a fucking stadium and you are done. Oh my
gosh, yeah.
You are done. And that bothers some people. I don't think they want to be disconnected for all that long. And the biggest thing, Paige, make better football games. Better out-of-conference games and don't do them in bullshit stadiums. That would be my two immediate things that jump off to me.
What I think they need to do is, and obviously with college, it's a little more difficult to execute this, but we're seeing that a lot of stadiums are adding sports books and the ability to watch other games. So I think that's a really big piece of what is happening with college football because, like you said, part of this is some people really enjoy watching college football in general, and the fans of certain teams love to go to the games. That's great. But the larger college football audience is now watching for gambling purposes and watching on a national level. So say their local team or wherever they can get to easily every Saturday is one that's not, nationally ranked. They still want to pay attention to the big games that are going on. And it's not really, at least I know in like the Arizona Stadium, there's only certain areas where there's TVs to be able to watch other games. But I think making those sort of things more accessible to the students. I don't know if like sports books on campus is like ever going to happen because that sounds bad, but they are adults. Like they are 18 years old.
Will.
So like they get to make their own decisions. And we allow drinking on there. So why not? But I think it would be kind of cool to add that element, at least being able to watch it as like a fan of the whole sport and still attend the game that you want to attend.
I think though, like, I really think this is a challenge for the sport, but also attendance is not the driving factor behind a lot of the huge revenues. No. It's what, 20 to 30%, which is not nothing. But if your attendance dips somewhat and your television revenues are great and your conference revenues are great, you don't like your attendance dipping, but it's not a death blow, right? I mean, this is not a death blow for these teams. So, but I just think, again, I don't know. I'm old now. So if I was in college, I would tailgate. I would have to go to the game. But now, like, if I were not covering it, I would tailgate and then I'd go to a bar and watch it, like, and probably just hang out. And I'd have a similar camaraderie experience, especially if it's like a local bar.
Yeah.
And I'd be able to watch other games and bet on other games too. So, like, I love the sport. I don't think there's anything quite like being in a football stadium. Like Illinois, Nebraska, when I went to that as a fan, and that was not well attended for an opening game, one of the more enjoyable game experiences I've had because it was just kind of fun to be at.
Yeah. I think I've told this story on the podcast. I mean, watching Arizona beat Iowa was one of my favorite college football experiences, besides the fact that I completely shattered my toe and then had to have surgery and watch in a wheelchair, but that's beside the point. But like the fact that I was one even there and still attending, very exciting, and watching that was really cool. So I think your team doesn't have to be good to go and watch. Like, college football is good for being bad sometimes. So I don't think that's necessary. I don't think it's the product on the field that's a problem, really. I think it's just the experience where, like you said, like, I think more so now than ever, like, kids are tailgating and just staying and tailgating and watching games. Also, if you're a Pac-12 school, options. They're starting at 10 a.m. and their kickoff isn't until like 7 p.m. So like it is kind of hard to do that. So I would be curious where the Pac-12 fell in that attendance stat. But I don't think it's a huge deal. I mean,
I agree with that.
And it's also, this has been a steady decline. We just finally hit the marker of like lowest in this many years that, you know, everybody's blowing up. And it's not to say that people aren't watching college football either. So
no, the interest is high. The sport is growing. Revenue continues to pour into it. NIL proves exactly what is happening with this too.
You know what would increase attendance, like you said, is if they had, I don't know, extra playoff games that were played on campus.
Yes,
that would bring the average up.
You want to improve attendance. Like, stop scheduling shit football games. Like, I'm here for cupcake. I know what these cupcake games
how dare
mean.
you talk about Cupcake Week like that?
Well, I appreciate the cupcakes. I understand how important it is for them. But, like, you want attendance to grow up? Don't schedule Savannah State. Like, your schedules, your attendance is going to go up, right, significantly. Yeah. So, but that's hard because the Savannah States rely on that. And if you're a team that's, you know, hovering around bowl eligibility, you know the importance of that. So you're saying, okay, we could sacrifice potential attendance revenue for all of it that comes with this win. But I don't think it's a bad thing for the sport. I don't think it's a good thing for the sport. You'd obviously want to drive up attendance, but it doesn't necessarily signal like an end of college football.
No, and also go. But I would say if there was a week where it was a good week to drop that college football attendance is low, it would be the week that baseball is just completely shooting itself in the foot.
So sad.
We have officially canceled opening day, or postponed it, I guess, opening day in the first two series of the baseball season. Any thoughts? Because we actually both are like pretty decent. I mean, I'm a pretty big baseball fan. I know you are too. Like we enjoy some good baseball, and like actually we enjoy some pretty bad baseball. But like that's a staple of the summer, and it's also just like crazy that this league is just so terrible at supporting its players, and that they have these discussions so often, it feels like, and they still can't get anything done. And the commissioner is just a complete clown. Absolute clown.
God. Well, that's an important point. And there are some ties to college football here. The commissioner, Rob Manfred, is horrifically bad at his job. Yes. Let's just start with that. But Rob Manfred this is not his problem. He does not exhibit leadership, and he's smiling when he's saying he's canceling, which is like, what the fuck is that? But he is a mouthpiece for the owners. Roger Goodell takes a lot of shit. Roger Goodell is actually a tremendous mouthpiece for the owners. Roger Goodell, in comparison to Rob Manfred, is magnificent. So I know we like to boo Roger Goodell,
Mm-hmm.
Roger Goodell still has the owner's best interests in mind, and yet presents it as if it's kind of
Yes.
him, and he has a way to kind of curb the saltiness and all that. So Rob Manfred's job is to be a mouthpiece for, like, you know, most of them, I assume all these franchises are probably worth $1 billion, billionaires. So he's kind of his hands tied, and yet manages to completely be the face of incompetence and greed and all of this. Here's the thing that drives me crazy, Paige. I get that these conversations don't kick up until till things get tight and there's a deadline.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like they were making headway. Why couldn't you have started talking earlier? This could have been avoided.
Yeah.
And it's incompetence and greed. And it feels like, I don't know about you, but it feels like to me, people pretty much are supporting the players in unison on this. Like it, yeah. I don't think the owners are getting like a lot of love as you like survey the landscape.
No, not at all. And I mean that you're right. That is the main problem. But I think the other side of that too is like, I will use Adam Silver as an example. I think he's someone who is a major advocate for the players. And I would say Manfred doesn't even try to do that. He just is like, I'm whatever either
just
you guys
a pocket
want,
square. Yep,
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. And so I really do think that like he could do a better job of fixing. Like I think the other part of this is that it's like when you're canceling games, like this is people's livelihoods. Like this isn't just players. This is, you know, staffs. This is security people around. Yep. Yes, it affects so many people. And they already dealt with major changes in minor league, which wiped out a decent amount of jobs and affected people's lives. And so I think that part of it is like, that is his responsibility to almost be like, hey, we understand this is a huge impact and it's tough and it's sad and it's hard, but it's like, he doesn't even seem to have that, like have grasped that, the gravity of all of this. Like, it almost seems like he is not aware, and like, he's very aware and has a lot more information and could be a little bit better about it, but he's just not.
It's bad.
But yeah, it's sad and it's hard to watch, and I really hope we get a baseball season. I'm sure we will. I don't want it to be the idea of having like shortened baseball seasons, just like, again,
it's gross.
Like we've been through,
I know.
like we just went through all of this. Like how can you not have better solutions and come to the table with better understanding of the needs? But I mean, I'm happy that the Players Association is not budging, because again, this isn't just to get this season going. This is to impact the long-term effects of problems that this league has in supporting its players.
Yeah, and I do kind of love that new Max Scherzer sounds like a real bulldog asshole at the negotiation table, and he's making $45 million a year, and he still is like on behalf. If you listen to him talk, like he sounds like a really intense, shrewd negotiator, which baseball needs.
Yeah.
I get sad. I love baseball. I'm a Mets fan. I get sad about that. But actually, the Mets have some hope and some movement.
Yeah,
and it's like, it's really like, this is like, to me, it's such a cool passive thing. This gets me to college football. Baseball does, Paige. Like, I like college basketball. I love March Madness. But when I think of baseball, I think of like going home, cracking a beer, sitting down with my kids, watching a couple innings. Like, I think of just baseball being this constant form of entertainment for me. Mm-hmm. And I am really bummed out. And I think they're going to lose fans, and that sucks. Because I can't blame fans who are fed up. That's not me. I'm not going anywhere. I know how like business negotiations go, but I can also be really disappointed with the sport and its ability to act and its leadership. It's a fucking disaster right now.
Yeah.
So it's sad. I'm bummed. Like, we got to wait a while.
It sucks. I mean, I love baseball, and going to A's games, especially, like, I don't need a shortened season when maybe, you know, could be the last of, who knows if the A's are actually staying. I know they approved it. Howard Terminal, don't come for me. But I won't believe it until they build it and they play a game there. But yes, I will say that, like, it is a staple of what we do during the summer, because even, I mean, before COVID, I was working in San Francisco, and the train from where I live and the Bleacher Report office in the middle is basically where the stadium is. So I would like legit meet my family after work and like go to night games, and it's just the best. I love baseball, and I hope that it gets fixed. One sport that does not need to worry about attendance or a specific game is the Duke game, which is this Saturday against UNC, but it is Coach K's last home game in Cameron. Ticket prices are going to break records that even Super Bowl tickets have not hit yet.
Holy shit.
Which is insanity. Right now, I looked at Ticketmaster. $19,000 for a ticket right now is listed on Ticketmaster. $8,000, and the cheapest one on here is $4,900. I mean,
wow.
That one.
Well, how many seats are in Cameron? There's not many.
Okay, so
right?
it's actually small. It's smaller than I thought. I think there's a lot of seats, but it's like packed in. So I went in November, and the first the lower sections are the one across from the benches is the student section and the Cameron Crazies, and that's where press row is. And then behind one of the baskets is the graduate student section too. So those two sections are taken up. And there's only maybe 3 levels to where the seats are. It's not huge. It's very intimate. But, I mean, they can pack a lot of people in there. The student section is, packed. They're benches, and so they don't have individual seats, which is crazy. Because, at U of A, we at least had, seats that you had to be in. These are straight up benches, and they just, cram all of these people in. That's why they call it the Cameron Crazies. But the fact that, this ticket is so ridiculous, I was reading an article about how this season ticket holder, someone in the beginning of the year offered their friends who were season ticket holders $5,000 each for their tickets, and they said no. And I guess a couple weeks ago they're okay, we'll give you $10,000 each, and they were they took it, and she's I don't care how much mine's worth, I'm staying. Which props to her, because I would want to experience something like this. I think it's awesome. Whether you like or dislike Coach K, yes. Well, the fact that one, this is his final game in Cameron. He's been there forever. Whether you like him or not, they're playing their rival, and they're potentially going to get a 1 seed. And UNC is playing to basically get a spot in the tournament. So, the stakes are high, but also, the moment is so exciting and so cool. I mean, I felt even, honored to be able to go to a game during his last season. I was this is so cool. I get to say that I, saw Coach K coach in Cameron during his last season. And so it's nuts to me that this is happening, because I love college basketball, obviously, but never did I think a ticket price would be setting a record for a college basketball game. But this also begs the question of what sporting event, any hypothetical sporting event, would you pay an astronomical amount of money to attend? Okay,
so real quick, fun fact about John Shire. Came up at local high school. Okay, John Shire from the area. John Shire played against all my buddies and would absolutely fucking torch us because he was a machine. So John Shire, we would play him in high school, was a monster. Of course he was. And he was hated because he was a little cocky bastard, and he's amazing. And also, what an amazing gig. So a little John Shire background, but you'd watch him play, and it was John Shire and now, of course, Jalen Brunson, who went to my high school. It's been fun to watch him. So, okay. Now, I've been thinking about this a little bit. As a whole, I'm a little numb to this. I have a little background story to give you.
Okay.
Will tell you my most painful ticket giveaway. The answer, of course, is Tiger Woods' final Masters. Whenever that is that I would pay an ungodly amount of money for Tiger Woods' final Masters. He's my favorite athlete all time. We've been to a lot of really cool games, most of them college football games, so I'm a little numb to all this. But years ago, I was given tickets to the Masters. We were doing a deal with PGA Tour for the Golden Tee side. Maybe I've told you this. I had tickets to go. I gave them to the owners of our company here, which they're very appreciative of. I ended up covering Kansas football spring game that week with Les Miles and Rick Ross. Okay, and so they had tickets to Sunday. So I fly home from Kansas football spring game. Okay, it's a fucking blizzard in Chicago. It's April. It's a blizzard. I'm watching on my phone. I shouldn't be saying this. On the drive home, there's 6 inches of snow. I'm sliding all over, but Tiger's on the 15th hole. And I'm getting texts from my owners, this is so amazing. Thank you so much. And he wins it. Okay. And so I think about that a lot.
Okay.
Because being at Tiger Woods in the Masters, and I know I'm hijacking your answer, but now I need to go see Tiger Woods at the Masters at some point. Maybe not his last one, which would be the ticket, but I want to go.
That is basically the Masters of like missed opportunity, because I've told this story to you, but I have not, I think, publicly told this story. I, a couple years ago, received a job offer from PGA Tour, and that year basically would be to do social media and go to tournaments. And they said, like, we usually let like the newer people go to the big ones when they want to. Like, you can decide, like, obviously you can't go to every major, but like some people get to go to them, and obviously that would have been my first choice to go to. And yeah, that would have been the first year that I would have been working for them, would have been Tiger Woods winning the Masters. So I could have not only been up close and personal, but I had turned that job down because I got offered the college football role here, and I wanted to cover college football. But I
good career choice.
Yeah,
bad
good career
day
choice.
decision.
Yeah, in the moment, I remember watching it being like, oh my God, this is terrible.
What have I done?
I know. But if the PGA Tour ever wants to invite me back just for fun to be like a single day hire to cover the Masters, I'm open to it. I'm so open to vlog the whole day of going to the Masters.
But like outside of that, so Tiger to me has always had a connection. I'd like to go to a Super Bowl. If the Jets were in the Super Bowl, I thought that would be your answer. That would be it. And if the Mets were, so to me, it's all about your teams. Actually, my dad and I have talked.
That's what I mean.
When the Mets are in the World Series, I'm going to pay it. I'm going to pay it. And we're going to pay it. And we're going to go. And, you know, he's got some money. So we'll do it upright. And like, hopefully hopefully that's a him bill thing. So I have to worry less about the bill, because it's going to be expensive. But to me, it's Tiger, Jets, or Mets. Iowa in the college football, they're going to lose. I don't. Yeah. And we'll worry about that. I'm like numb to college football, but to me, those three things, you know.
Yeah. Mine.
One day.
Yeah. Right. We'll go to the Masters together to watch Tiger, but mine would certainly be Arizona basketball in a national championship. But good news, if they make it this year, I don't have to pay for a ticket.
There you go. Seriously.
that would get it around. But other than that, I would say I would like to watch the 49ers win a Super Bowl. That'd be awesome. But the A's winning the World Series would by far be a bigger like heartstring thing for me. I would be unwell. I think I would be unwell if any of my teams won a championship. I think there's a reason why they don't, because like I don't know that, like, if Arizona wins a national championship, like, you're not going to, like, you can't tell me anything for, like, a whole year at least. Like, that bare minimum.
Just peace. Like, you're out. Yep.
I'm going to be the most obnoxious human being on this planet for at least a year. Like, I will own that. I'm not even sorry. But I think, yeah, an Arizona National Championship and an A's World Series would be the two that I would drop all of my money on to go to.
It really is. Now I want the Mets to be in. Now it's getting me sad about baseball. Because I really would love to go. They were in it not terribly long ago, and I could not. My dad did go, I think, and I could not go, and I can't remember why. But again, I got drunk at home.
I went to the last wild card game, and the A's lost by a bajillion to the. Yeah, so that was not fun.
Yes, it's no, it is not.
It's hard, but I feel like you know what? I'm glad that those tickets are going for what they're going for Coach K. I feel like that's awesome, and he's, like him or not, he's good for college basketball, and I'm looking forward to the tournament and maybe a decent run for them. But I hope they lose before they reach Arizona, because that would not be good for my health to watch.
Okay,
but
we
could talk football now.
Yes, no, but I don't really care, because I like talking baseball and shitting on them. Before we talk combine betting, all right, first off, how do you feel about spring football? Let me enter in a little bit. Like, what are your thoughts on spring football?
I legitimately don't care. Like, that sounds so bad, but I think this is why I don't care, because I think a lot of people put a lot of stock in like the things that they see at spring games. And I'm like, dude, we have so much time. Shit's going to change, especially like big teams. Like it'd be nice to see like what some of the quarterbacks look like. I think that's usually the biggest thing because they get reps. But like, it's not, this isn't it. Anything. I feel like it's basically a walkthrough. And I'm sure you have a different answer, but
No, I don't. I remember there was a time maybe 6-7 years ago where I feel like spring football was it. Like I remember some of these LSU teams like Zach Mettenberger like completing 28 of 28 passes at an LSU scrimmage bag. Holy shit, man. This is the year. But so here's our plan on this pod. This is not going to be a goofy, nerdy, spring-heavy pod like,
no, you're not going to break down
did you
film.
see Michigan's O-line depth? No. But we are going to try and touch on a point that is relatively interesting to us every week. If there's something interesting, and if there's nothing interesting, screw it. Yeah. I find this...
No forced content here.
Now, this isn't really all that interesting, but I still think it's meaningful. Casey Thompson... #1 quarterback at Nebraska. Spring practice has started. Now, a couple of things about this are interesting. The fact that spring practice has started does kind of get me a little juiced up. I say I don't care, but I kind of care. Like, I do think it. I'm getting juiced up for this Nebraska team, Paige. I'm like doing this is like more off-season research than I've done.
Spending too much time with Jason.
Well, this is absolutely Jason content, but when I think of adding Mark Whipple, I used to work with an attorney named Mark Whipple, different Mark Whipple, formerly of you. for not my attorney, corporate attorney. Should have clarified. Well played.
We're revealing a lot on this podcast.
Yes. So it's always thrown me. I interviewed Mark Whipple for a story I did on at UMass. And but obviously he really transformed Kenny Pickett. And I'm interested in this because, of course, he's going to be the #1 quarterback. That was how it was always going to be. But I think he's pretty good. And I think if you get him with a competent OC, which they've done, Nebraska's quarterbacking over the last 17 years with Martinez has just been so hit or miss. I want this to work, not just because of Jason listening, but I think it's a cool hire, and I think it's a good fit. So him being #1, not surprising. The fact that it's starting and Scott Frost's like make or break year, and this is like the makeist or breakist of years, like starts now, that feels like a deal to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. Like you said, you're getting juiced up for it. And like the more I see it and the more I see reactions to it and the players and certain things like that, especially with a lot of people on new teams, I feel like will be interesting. But I don't take any like stock from it of like, oh, okay, this is who's going to be the starting quarterback or this is who, you know what I mean? Like I just don't ever really look at it that way because I'm actually pretty sure that DJ had like a really good spring game there was some quarterback that was like recently that had like a really good spring game and people were like kind of freaking out and it didn't go well. But I don't get super excited for it. I think it's a nature of working in college football news for the last couple of years. Like I've just gotten so sick of people overreacting to some of this stuff and having it be a story that's not a story because people get bored. But I will say, I'm excited for Spencer Rattler. I think it'll be cool to see him on a new team with some returning players that he worked with before, but it'll just be kind of cool to see like everybody sort of getting to their place, I would say. Because, I mean, with transfer portal stuff, everybody's been all over the place. So, definitely think it'll be cool to see that. But other than that, I will watch them. That's the sad part is that I say that I don't care. Oh, I will be watching them. Which is, like, kind of embarrassing. On, like, live streams on the internet. Which is just ridiculous. But, yeah.
Okay. So, on to more important topics, which is betting on the NFL Combine.
Can you do that? That was a serious question. I was like, can you?
You absolutely can, and guess what? I've got odds for you, so I can.
Okay.
This is over at DraftKings, who is, I think, one of the better books in terms of taking some chances, getting some weird shit out there.
Yeah,
because they're doing it.
I like that pick for sports books. Shout out Bleacher Report sponsor.
Absolutely, and DraftKings, like call us. I'm just saying. So, all right. I've got a couple of prop bets here. Fastest 40-yard dash time. Faster than 4.29 seconds, minus 160. Slower than 4.29, plus 120. That's pretty freaking fast.
That's so fast.
I kind of like slower. I need to do a full-on evaluation of the speed in place. Usually for this, you're talking about kind of like you've got a handful of guys that you could target and say, he's going to be it. Because especially like the official times at the combine are normally not that fast. That's really, really fast.
Yeah, I would definitely take slower.
Okay. I feel like this bet is geared toward me. I feel like they said, what would Adam want to bet on? And it's this question. Fastest 40-yard dash time by an offensive lineman.
They did.
Faster than 4.87 seconds, minus 115. Slower than 4.87, minus 115. I like faster. The linemen are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Some linemen will run like a 4.71, and they are just 300-pound.
This is like a pretty athletic O-lineman class.
Yes, it is. So are you thinking under on that?
Yeah, I would take that. Look at us being all aligned on these.
I know. All right, let's go to bench press.
Oh,
over 39 and a half reps, minus 130, under 39 and a half reps, plus 100. That's a good line. I think the record is like 44. Hold on.
I can maybe do like 10. But like
You
what
know,
I bench press is like the bar.
When I used to train around the combine like a real meathead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh that hard.
No. But I used to actually do this when the combine would come. I would see how many reps I would be able to get. And it used to be pretty good. Not anymore. I'll hurt myself doing it. But back in the day.
You're back. I don't need you.
Oh my God. No. It would go bad. But back in the day, I think I got up to 27 once. Like
that's a lot.
One time. And then of course it now.
And that's like fully laying down, right?
Full 225. This is a lot of like humble bragging I didn't want to do. Goddamn combine numbers. Where are they? I think it's 44. Was it Paella, the Oregon State D lineman? So he was on the Bears, right? I used to work out at the same gym as him. And he would come in. I'm like a lot of name dropping. I better pick these up today.
Seriously.
But he would work out and he would put 405 on there. And it was like he was throwing it up and catching it. It was the dumbest, most cartoonish thing. Like it wasn't just 405. It was repping at an Hold on, I'm looking up the.
When I look at some of these numbers and I hear some of these numbers, like I have to see a video of it because otherwise the numbers mean nothing to me. Because like I obviously am not into weightlifting at the extreme. Like I do, maybe the most that I've ever like lifted is like 15 pounds. I don't think I've ever tried anything more than that. But honestly, I'm curious what I can bench press with just the bar.
I think this is something we should absolutely test out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have access to it. Actually, my weights are legitimately right behind me, just so you know. This is a look into the studio. My free weights are right here.
Oh, there you go. That's about the same thing.
Yeah. Get some. I got what's the most I have? I think it's 25 is the most that I have.
By the way,
so
how about me? It is Stephen Paella. 49 is the record.
I like how you just went, how about me?
How about me? But like, who can recite the combine bench press record like that? Like, who has that information stored? I'll tell you who. This guy.
It was 2 thumbs in those combine numbers.
I mean, so 49. I'll tell you what, though. This is an aggressive over-under. Because, like,
so what was it again? 39? 39 being the betting odds.
Yeah, I think this is a shady. Hold on a second. This might be a shady website. It only goes up to 2020. My information might be wrong. If anything, all right, I'm going to look it up again. All right, well, but more combine. Let's go through this anyway. Yeah, 49 reps. Okay, still the record holder. Vertical leap. 43.5 inches, minus 115 on either side. That is, oh my God, that is a leap.
That is like, yeah, because I was thinking about like NBA combine numbers.
That is, I don't know about that one. I'd probably go under.
Jump record is like, wait.
Broad jump, 11.5. I don't know. That doesn't really resonate with me. 3 cone drill and the 60-yard jump. So you could basically bet on all of this stuff.
Okay, wait. Fantastic. So what did you say the vertical jump was?
43.5.
Why are these numbers so weird?
I'm telling you, you got in the same website that I did.
No, I'm trying to look at the NBA ones from last year, but like the guy that they list at number 1, like his number is. That's so weird.
Hold on, don't worry, I'm on it.
44.5.
49 bench presses of 225. By the way, is
a lot ridiculous.
It's
the one for
I found the all-time record vertical leap for Chris Conley in 2015, 45 inches. 43.5 is a damn. I mean, Donovan Peoples-Jones jumped 44.5. Wow. Why did he last so long and go to the Browns? All right. You know what's pretty? Speedy Noyle. Do you remember Speedy Noyle?
No.
Oh, man. Texas A&M wide receiver. Broad jump record, 12.3, Byron Jones. I do remember that, if these are updated. This may not actually be proper information. The long and short on this is you absolutely can bet on the combine. Yes. And we are going to bet under Lyman 4.87 seconds. That is what we're going to do.
We should group bet. And so we'll have producer Matt make a graphic of our combine bets. That is a collective group effort.
I am in. And I think we've got some synergy on some of this. Okay. So, of course, we're keeping this live. We've made it now 3 weeks for our No Punts Allowed top 25.
Yes.
You or me. Because we've been, so far, Alabama, Ohio State for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going here? I think we're still aligned here, and then we may go our separate ways.
I am going with Georgia.
Me too.
Against my better judgment.
Oh, that's interesting.
There's somebody that I wanted to rank above them, but they will be 4. I will keep that for next week, obviously. But they proved me wrong. So I will give them the opportunity to win again. But I have doubts, but I think they're still going to be good. They're loading up again. They did have a bunch of big losses, but I think they're going to be fine and they'll be in the hunt. But I do think they lose the games that were close last time.
So I agree with you. I think their quarterback position is fascinating because Bennett is back.
Yes.
But Brock Vandegrift might win that job. Like Stetson Bennett might not be the starting quarterback. And JT Daniels
what is he good? Like I'm like being really serious. Like
Brock, well,
yes.
he was the number 1 quarterback in the country a year ago. Or one of, recruiting rankings. I'm sure I'm going to get yelled at by this. So yes, but he didn't play. So Bennett will probably win that job to start
it out.
But if he has like a first half, like he did, and I'm really curious what he looks like without a super team around him. I guess is what I'm getting at.
Question also: do we have some concern that Kirby will stick with him even if he shows those signs, a la Jake Fromm?
I think it's a little, maybe. Of course, yeah, he's done it before. And look, in the championship game, he didn't make a move, and it worked out. Mm-hmm. I commended him for it. I think this is going to be a different type of season. The biggest loss for them, so they lost, obviously, a ton of really good defensive players. Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis.
You love Nakobe Dean.
I want him on the Jets. We'll talk about that. Oh, my God, I want him on the Jets. But they lost a ton. But also the loss on offense, so you lost James Cook. You lost Burton to Alabama. I thought that was maybe the most critical loss. Oh God, why am I messing? I'm screwing up their number one wideout who was been hurt. They lost a shit ton though on offense. So they still have the number one tight end in the country. They still have Bennett. The O-line should be pretty good. The defense will be better. Yeah, I think they've earned the benefit of the doubt because of the recruiting, and I think they're a year or two ahead of the team that I thought about picking, but can't just yet. So I think it's going to be harder for sure. I don't think it's, they're losing probably, 3 or 4 first-round draft picks, depending on how things shake out.
Yeah.
George Pickens, that's who I wanted to mention. So they lost a lot.
Yeah.
And I do worry about offense and where they're going to manufacture points.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing in terms of Georgia, though, is like we've seen before, is, you have a lot of things had to go right for them to win a national championship in terms of like Stetson being good. You know what I mean? Like there's and stepping up in a big way, having a completely dominant defense and those type of things. I would say it's not as easy as it seems to go from winning a national championship to then refilling and doing that again. And especially because too, like decision making plays into this. Like some people are going to get a lot more reps than they did last year. It might take a little bit into the season for them to get really a rhythm, but I do think they have the pieces for it. It's just going to depend on how Kirby coaches this up. So that I think this is going to be a harder coaching job for him than even this year was, if that makes sense. Like I feel like that that more will be about his legacy. I mean, look at Coach O. Like this, not to say that Georgia is anywhere near struggling as much as that team was the year after, because they didn't have the recruiting to refill the way that Georgia does. But I will say, like in terms of coaching, like this will be his like probably his hardest coaching job because of the fact that he won a national championship. And with that team, it's not easy to do. It's not easy to do. Nick makes it look easy. We got to throw that in there.
He makes it look entirely too easy. And I think that is, we're assuming greatness. It's just not something we see year to year like this. And maybe they're wrong. I mean, they've recruited so well that they're on the Nick-like path. Yeah. But the difference is Nick.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the difference.
But I will say, for the Georgia fans listening, I will watch your spring game and watch Brock and let you know if I actually think he's good or just ranked high, because now I don't trust.
So
we'll get a full breakdown of the Georgia spring game. That's the one that I care about.
Paige, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah,
that's kind of mean about a college kid.
Oh, come on, boo! That was also
boo or no. How about boo or no boo?
Speaking boo or no boo. Speaking of thumbs down, I think the best thumbs down GIF of all time is a Mets fan. Isn't that guy?
Mets or Yankees? Like, yeah, right.
Yeah,
we're here. Yankees.
Is it
the guy with the beard? I don't know if it's Yankees or Mets, but he's a New York fan, and it is a great GIF because it's stoic.
It's an excellent boo GIF. I always use that one. That's one of my favorites.
All right. Well, we will wait for your official review. All right. Before we go, I'm drinking a classic for Picks and Pints. It's a Hot Prism Blue Indy Pale Ale. This is the first drop of alcohol I've had since Vegas. I'm going to be honest. It hits a little different right now. I'm going to have to continue my detox after this beer, but I have a brand up.
Are you detoxing for the whole month in solidarity?
No, I've got a UFC fight this week. We've got some sporting events. So I have 2 gambling picks this week.
Okay.
And I'm interested to get your thoughts.
All right.
Golf and UFC. On the golf side for the Arnold Palmer, I am going to, this is actually, both these picks are kind of chalky, which I feel kind of lame about. But I'm going to go John Rahm, who's plus 750 on DraftKings.
Hate that pick.
And good start. And then on the
he's a Sun Devil.
That's true. That's right. So, I forgot. This is an Arizona-related podcast.
Yeah.
On the UFC side of things,
so it's a good. Did you? Is that just your golf pick? There is it outright?
Outright, set plus 750 winner.
Okay.
I don't know. I could go down the field a little bit. Billy Horschel at 50-1. I don't hate. It's an interesting board. I haven't really got my golf betting going. I've tried a few things here and there. It's not gone well. So I don't know if you have a pick for golf at all.
I had Koepka in the Waste Management Open. And I was pretty pissed about that Sunday round.
Yes, that was not great.
That's all right.
That was not great. And then my last bet, very chalky. UFC, pretty good card. It's been beat up a little bit by COVID. Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal. I'm going to bet a minus 320 favorite in Colby Covington, which I don't like doing.
That means
normally don't like.
That means nothing.
Minus 320. No, none of this. Okay.
It's not even English to me.
Colby
here's
Covington.
the thing. I told you this. I would love to watch UFC. I would love to bet on UFC. I think it'd be so fun. I cannot watch it or I will probably pass out. I remember I told you the last fight I tried to watch. Someone like literally snapped their leg in half. So that was bad. I cannot.
That was you tuned in.
That was the one time I was like, okay, I'll try again. I'll try. For my brother, I was like, cool, we'll get it because it was just him and I was like, all right, we'll order it and we'll hang out and watch it. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. I had to leave the room. I was like, I think I'm gonna pass out. I think I'm gonna throw up. That's how dramatic.
I was watching that fight and I was playing with my wedding ring as I often do, just like getting nervous energy. I dropped it behind the couch and I heard a crack and I thought it was just a normal leg kick. And then I heard like a yell and then I decided, you know what? I'm not going to tune back in.
Nope.
So, but I do like Colby Covington minus 320, which is huge odds. Again, not my style, but it should be a pretty good fight. Are you betting anything this weekend?
No, I was going to bet on golf, but I decided that I'm going to take the weekend off because March I need to save. I need to save for.
All right. So you're detoxing and you're not gambling. Do we need, we can talk about all of this off air. I'm here to support you in whatever ways are.
You're like, whatever's going on, man. You're just detoxing. No, it's because this is a very, full disclosure. It is a very, stressful and busy work time for me that I work better with a clear mind, but I will be gambling during the NCAA tournament. I usually don't when Arizona's in it, but I will.
We will have picks for that. I'm actually looking forward to bracket time, which is what, not a week from, is it a week from Sunday?
A week from Sunday,
yes,
yeah. Yep.
Good God.
March 13th.
That'll be fun.
Selection Sunday.
All right. So with that, number 4 team next week, we will do, we have all sorts of other action to get to, including hopefully convincing you to break your no alcohol march. That's my goal, to break that. But for now, the Paige, I'm Adam. See you guys next week.